So let's start with the rubbing first. Think about your own body. Have you ever had a shoe that rubs on your foot? It could be because it's too tight or too loose. And exactly the same with your saddle. You know, if I think back in the old days, we used to have girth tightness. It was sort of a unit what looks like 2 cell phones long. And then you clamp the billet, and then with leverage, you could really girth the horse up super tight. Now, that, thank God, has disappeared. And we don't see those girth tightness anymore. So what does not disappear is the misconception that people think, oh, look, my saddle is moving in the back. And people ask the saddle fitters, or some saddle fitters, under the impression it needs to be very tight in the back so it doesn't move when I launch my horse or when I ride. So some saddles are clamped in the back, so tied down with billets configuration, or with special type of girth, or with bridging the saddle. So the back of the cantle literally is embedded into the back muscles. That, of course, puts a massive number onto the hair follicle, right, into the hair, which also leads in, why do I have white hair? I'm coming back to this in a moment. So when it's too tight, then, of course, you cannot avoid the shoulder movements, and the shoulders move on the horse like my shoulders do, and it pushes against the saddle. And let me just grab a saddle tree here. So you can see on the saddle tree, this is the front, right? That we call them tree points. And if the shoulder blade wants to come through here because the tree is too tight, but it can't, and the back is super tight because of misconception, the saddle is doing this. See this, Madison? And this kind of an action is, of course, rubbing. If it's too loose and the saddle is just flopping like a fish out of water, okay, same kind of a thing. That will, of course, cause massive friction. So the fast answer is too tight or too loose. And then people roll their eyes, oh my God, what is too tight or too loose? Think about shoes, right? What is a too tight shoe? What is too loose shoe? Just snug enough that you don't slip out of your shoe when you run, but tight enough that you don't slide in your shoe so your socks wrinkle. So that would be the rubbing. The white hair is, well, I indicated already, let me put that tree down here, is when the saddle is too tight in the front or in the back. And unfortunately, when that happens, it looks to the naked eye, oh, that looks good, look how good the saddle fits. But the compression is so hard that the hair follicle is missing the nutrition and oxygen in order for that hair follicle to bring in the healthy hair in. So most of the time, the white hair will come in later in next coat change. Some people say, yeah, but my horse has white hair, no saddle or no girth, nothing even comes and touches that, not even the saddle pad. You know, some types of horses get these white spots on the horse's back, roan particular, known for that. So sometimes it's a nutrition fact, sometimes it's just in their gene or their coat. But if it's underneath the saddle or the girth, it's either overheating, also caused by pads. Saddle pads are a huge factor there. Or, as I mentioned, if the saddle is bridging, a big, big no.